Thomas Maria Colson. Franklin Roosevelt once said, "Let us never forget that government is ourselves and not an alien power over us." The ultimate rulers of our democracy are not our president and senators and congressmen and government officials, but the voters of this country. The form of government used in the U.S. is called constitutionalism. Constitutionalism is a form of government which is based around a set of rules and laws. Our form of rules and laws comes from the Constitution, which is a government that is restricted to a set of laws so that the rights of the citizens within the government are protected. A democracy can be defined as a form of government in which the power is held by the people. Although by definition the United States would not be perceived as a democracy in its simplest form, there are democratic principles that are not included in this definition. The following points will explain why the United States of America is a democracy. Indirect democracy is a form of democracy where citizens elect officials to vote on their behalf. Although the control of the government is held by the elected officials, the officials are chosen and given that responsibility by the citizens of the U.S. in an organized election. In Maynard Yack's article, The Principles of Representative Government for Review of Politics, Yack discusses how the United States acts as an indirect democracy. Common understanding of representative government as the indirect form of democracy in which legislative and executive powers are exercised by a relatively small number of individuals elected by the people rather than by the people themselves. Although how the United States selects their officials is a key principle on making the United States a democracy, there are more democratic principles used in government. The United States of America is a democracy because of the democratic principles that are protected and are used in the U.S. government and the Constitution. Each and every citizen who is of age has the right to vote. This right is called universal suffrage. The right to vote is protected by the 15th and 16th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution, which protects the right to vote for all U.S. citizens no matter race, sex, or creed. Another example of democratic principles used in the United States government is majority rule. Majority rule is a principle that only officials and laws that receive 50% plus one of the votes are passed into law or are elected. This principle is the key to democracy because it allows the citizens to vote on the majority of the citizen vote decides the law. Lastly, the democratic principle, the consent of the governed. The consent of the governed is the principle that the power of the government is only available and possible because of the citizens of the U.S. gave them that power. The reason the U.S. government functions and the officials in that position have the power that they possess is because citizens put them in that position. The U.S. not only functions as an indirect democracy, but also has democratic principles embedded in the Constitution for the framework of its government.